Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. Let's see what we have in here. So far, we have been Cody, Phoenix, as well as Cameron, Anna, and Caden. Glad to see you guys all in here for another stream here on the channel. Hopefully, everyone is having a fantastic Friday so far. We've got a lot of severe weather to talk about, so let's just go right ahead and jump right on into it. We'll go right over to our main scene. We got an enhanced risk for severe weather today. They went ahead and upgraded the risk as we expected. A lot larger of a risk than I was expecting. I was expecting a dual risk for severe weather today. I was thinking an enhanced risk up in this area and then another enhanced back in this area. But instead of doing that, they just did one huge enhanced risk for severe weather today. Level 3 out of 5, mainly for damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour. And then especially for large hail up to softball size back out towards San Antonio in central and southeastern Texas. So very large risk area for today. A lot of people are going to be hit by a lot of severe storms. Thankfully, not dealing with much of a tornado threat today. We do have the opportunity for a few tornadoes, though. We've got a very large 2% chance for tornadoes today. Just a really overall large threat in terms of size. I'm sure that's probably for about 12 plus million people there. I'll go check real quick. So for that tornado threat, there is actually almost 30 million people under the gun for a few spin-up tornadoes today. So not a ridiculous like high-end threat for tornadoes today, anything like that, not even a 5%, but definitely the opportunity for some severe storms going on through pretty much the entirety of today. It will start to calm down as we lose daytime heating very late this evening, but that won't be until probably just a guess, maybe 8-9 o'clock Eastern time is when those severe storms will begin to diminish. But we have plenty of severe storms to keep an eye on right now. We're all the way up to 16 severe storms. Just a second ago, we were actually up to 23 severe thunderstorm warnings. So plenty of severe storms. We have a significant severe thunderstorm warning over Waynesboro in south central Tennessee right now for 1.75-inch hail. The damaging wind threat isn't nearly as significant as we were originally anticipating back up here in Tennessee. We were thinking a very large squall line would make its way through this area, producing very significant damaging winds of 80 miles per hour. But instead, we've ended up with a very messy setup. So we have a bunch of what are actually prefrontal storms that have fired out in front of our main line of severe weather. So what's happening is all these storms all over the place, they're all taking up the environment that this line is supposed to be using. So instead of us getting a very strong line with this area in here moving towards and actually past the Memphis Metro now, we're just dealing with a very sloppy line of 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. And then these severe storms are actually way well in front of it, way back out into central Tennessee, south central Kentucky, north central Alabama, whereas they're supposed to be way back here right now. So a lot of prefrontal storms is kind of screwing up today's severe threat in terms of the damaging wind side of things. Back out here in Texas, we're seeing a lot of thunderstorms fire and probably too many thunderstorms fire. We're having a lot of over convection today, a lot more than what model runs were predicting. So that's resulting in a very sloppy mode for severe weather today. If we keep that, we're not going to see a very notable significant severe threat. But either way, we do have the likelihood of 70 mile an hour winds and 3-inch hail today. If you look at their watch here in Texas, scroll down to the wording, 70 mile an hour winds are likely, 3-inch hail is likely. So that means hazards greater than that is a possibility. But what we're really expecting out of this is at least a few storms producing tennis ball sized hail and 70 mile an hour wind gusts. And then, like I said, we could see a tornado or two also being possible. However, all of these watches, there is a tornado or two being possible. So thus, throughout this whole area, we have a pretty high chance of seeing one tornado today, somewhere in this area. And there's no really confined area of severe potential in terms of, I should say, tornadic potential. Let me rephrase that. There's no really confined area for tornadic potential. NATOcast had, believe it or not, a enhanced risk for tornadoes today, centered in central Tennessee, right near the Nashville Metro. Yeah, that's not going to verify. Not sure what NATOcast is doing recently, but it has not been. It's not been doing that well, to be honest with you. It did nail yesterday's tornado, though, but yesterday was a sleeper day, and that's the days that NATOcast shines at. It shines at small scale, mesoscale features and very small, like overall probabilities for tornadoes. It likes to highlight that stuff very obviously, so it really shines on smaller scale days. But today it has a 10% over Nashville. That's just, it's just not going to verify. There's no chance that verifies at all. Not with the amount of over convection we're seeing out here. There's literally like a no chance at all. So if you are under any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, just make sure you're away from doors and windows and you'll be good to go. That's really what we're going to be dealing with today. Also very, very frequent lightning. So just a lot of these severes are just going to want to stay indoors, away from doors and windows. And that's about it. I mean, we shouldn't see any. I don't expect to see much tornadic activity today. Like I said, we could get as many as like 1 to 2 tornadoes along this whole area here in that severe watch region. But I don't really see it being a huge issue in terms of tornadic activity. Monday and Tuesday will be in the risk. Marcus, it looks like some big-time damaging windbags out there. If you are just now tuning in and you haven't been paying attention much to the SPC outlooks, like I have not been paying much attention, you may not know that we actually do have a day 4 slight risk for severe weather out here in portions of Texas. So that includes Lubbock, Texas, under that, Fort Stockton, San Angelo, Junction. You guys are all under a slight risk for severe weather going on into Monday. So pretty good chance for severe storms out there. Main risk by a milestone is damaging winds and some isolated very large hail. It's Texas. We're going to get hail. And maybe a spin-up tornado or two. I don't see the tornado threat being that notable. But look at all these severe thunderstorm watches we have out right now. This is your current look at severe thunderstorm watches. And there's just a bunch of severe thunderstorm watches currently out. This is like 4 or 5 severe watches. So just a lot of severe thunderstorm watches out. And categorical risk for today, there's your big enhanced risk for severe weather. A lot easier to see on this compared to Radar Omega. So a big, big enhanced risk for severe storms all the way up from Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way down here to almost the Texas-Mexico border. That is something new that WeatherWise has added today. WeatherWise had a mega update, as they called it. A very, very large update for their warning overhaul system. Now, when warnings are issued, you can customize them, and they also have this to them. They have that new overlay, just like Radar Omega. So WeatherWise had a big, big update today, overhauling all of the warnings and watches. And then you can see the severe thunderstorm watch also has those probabilities, and they also display over each other. So and they also added that too. Those are new alerts that they've added, and that is a tornado warning. That's why you heard that higher beep. That higher beep is an emergency beep from WeatherWise. So that means we are now under a tornado warning out here in Ohio. Out here in central Ohio, and that's a severe thunderstorm warning beep. Radar Omega is going crazy over there. It's chiming everywhere. So you can see this warning's flashing. That's a new feature from WeatherWise.
Tornado warning for Central Morrow County in north central Ohio, Morrow County in Ohio.
So now under a tornado warning out here in central Ohio. Those beeps are going to get pretty annoying today, so I'm probably going to just mute them on your end. So we'll turn off that one. But, of course, we're still going to have the Radar Omega beeps and everything like that. Let's see. Let me go back over here. There we go. New severe thunderstorm warnings. 2 more out here, Kentucky, and also back into Georgia. Main reason I pulled up WeatherWise is because I wanted to show you those new features as well as the categorical outlook. There we go. So tornado warning now in place back up here in central Ohio. We've got a tornado warning back up here into Cardington, Ohio. That's around and actually includes the Denmark, Ohio area. Edson, Johnsville, Chesterville, all inside a new tornado warning out here in central Ohio. So make sure you're in your safe spot if you're under that tornado warning. That should be a decent population warning there. We'll go check. Yeah, over 15,000 people inside that new tornado warning. So a lot of people inside that tornado warning storm there. There may be some local people chasing in Ohio, but there's no mainstream, named storm chasers that I know of chasing out in Ohio. None of our main chasers. Right now, our chaser, Connor Croft, is, at least from what I can tell, he's one of the few chasers who are live right now. He's starting up pretty early, as well as obviously with us. He's going to be out there to the northwest of Austin, Texas. Not really expecting too much of a tornado threat today, but he's out there either way. So we're back up to 20 severe thunderstorm warnings across the U.S. here. We still have a significant severe thunderstorm warning. And actually, we got a Tor possible severe. That's probably, yeah, that Tor possible severe is also the one that's currently tornado warned in Ohio. So another little area rotation up here, too. A very weak area rotation there going towards Grafton in north central Ohio. So just a few little areas that maybe, you know, spinning and something to watch. But yeah, there's your isolated tornado threat today. We're not expecting anything widespread at all, so we're really only looking at a few tornado warnings being possible today, maybe a brief spin-up tornado or two. Really nothing that should be too significant tornado-wise today. All right, let's go into central Tennessee here. Yeah, just a bunch of severe storms. A lot of severe storms all over the place. Let's see. So there's your broader view here from GR Earth. That slight risk goes all the way up into New York and Pennsylvania, and then all the way back down to South Central Texas. A absolute huge slight risk for severe weather. Probably one of the larger slight risks we've seen this year in terms of just sheer size. That slight risk is for 253,000 square miles. So an absolute huge slight risk for severe weather there. Let's go over the probabilities real quick. We didn't go too in-depth with the probabilities. Here's the SPC site. So there's your tornado risk. We took a look at that. But the wind threat, that is the driving factor today. Widespread 60-mile-an-hour winds are expected in much of this red 30% enhanced risk area. Mainly 60-mile-an-hour winds. Could get some gusts, definitely possible, approaching 70. And then there is the opportunity for an isolated gust as high as 80 somewhere in that red area today. Hail threat, very significant back out into Texas, of course, where we could see as large as softball-sized hail later on this afternoon and evening. Not really expecting much of a widespread hail threat there. I think only a few storms that fire in that area will be able to produce hail up to softball. It's going to be like one or two supercells that are going to be able to really, really try to form softball-sized hail. So the significant hail threat back out in Texas, I think, is a little bit less widespread than what we were originally anticipating. Last night, it looked ridiculous. This morning, it doesn't look as bad. If we take a look at our model runs real quick, take a look at our newest HRRR, just to show you how some things may fire out here. So you can see they're going to be very sloppy. And then if we get some supercells like this, that's where our very isolated tornado threat and softball-sized hail threat comes into play there. So if we do see those more isolated storms fire, those are going to be the ones to produce very large hail and potentially a spin-up tornado. Not really looking at a good environment, though. If we switch to your supercell composite here, I mean, barely anything in place tornado-wise for ingredients. So I'm really not concerned for a tornado threat today. I don't think there will be a big sleeper tornado like there was yesterday. Back up here into Tennessee, you can see that messy squall line is just going to keep going. It's just going to keep being a very messy line there. And shouldn't really be, once again, much of a tornado threat there as well. Go back up into Ohio here. So little area rotation still in place there over Cardington in central Ohio there. So just make sure you're in your safe spot there. It's the main storm to keep an eye on right now. And just look at all these scattered severe storms. That's why we're not going to see much of a tornado threat today. Not only because of that, but also because of just the ingredients aren't that high. So honestly, pretty surprised we even have a tornado warning right now. I didn't really expect to cover any tornado warnings in this stream. Let's see here. A new severe thunderstorm watch just got issued. That's what I was trying to see. So new severe watch was just issued for a very large chunk of Kentucky, as well as into eastern Tennessee. Probably for hail and winds. Yeah, winds, biggest issue there. 70-mile-an-hour winds likely. So we're going to see a lot of winds today. A lot of 60 to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, potentially as high as 80. And then some isolated small hail, possibly around 1.5 inch in diameter. At least in this northern risk area, that hail threat is very, very low. So the highest risk for tornadoes is this entire large 2% tornado risk. It's not that high end of a tornado threat, but it is a large in terms of sheer size of a tornado threat there. A very large area, almost 30 million people under the gun for a spin-up tornado or two today. But this is your enhanced risk, and it's mainly for wind. It's mainly for wind. Tornado warning, it still continues up in Ohio. That still continues for 14,463 people. Go up here. I think tomorrow we'll have a threat for What? Hold on. Let me reread that because I'm terrible at reading now. You think tomorrow we'll have a tornado threat for the East Coast? Yes, I definitely do. I'll be out there chasing tomorrow. If you go to the community post on this channel, you'll see the graphic I made breaking down the threat. Main target area for tomorrow is going to be right around the Winston area, Winston-Salem for tomorrow. There's no highlighted tornado threat, but if storms do fire discrete, which there is a pretty high chance of, I mentioned this before. Let me go to the NAM model run so I could show you. When we get good, solid, positively tilted troughs and just really a belt of flow across North Carolina, so this is what it's going to look like tomorrow. And you can see we have a big, not even really positive at that point. It is more of a neutral tilted trough ejection. You get a lot of defluence, divergence aloft here. So you can see winds going this way and winds going this way. So that's going to cause a bunch of rain showers tomorrow all across this portion in the U.S. But right here, see how these winds, this divergence is still present right over the Appalachian Mountains here. So what that's going to do is those winds are going to hit the mountains and hit moisture in there. And pretty much we're just going to see a bunch of semi-discrete to discrete storms fire all in this area. They may grow upscale very quickly into a clustery mess. That happens quite often due to the amount of forcing with this system. It wouldn't shock me either. But if we take a look at the simulated reflectivity for tomorrow, just to show you real quick, this is what we will be chasing, likely live. I'll likely be live tomorrow, storm chasing. You can see a bunch of semi-discrete cells and some clustered cells here across Virginia and North Carolina. Quite a few of them. Back up towards Pennsylvania and New York, this threat, it doesn't look as good for all hazards. But we could still see some large hail, isolated damaging winds, especially in southeastern Pennsylvania and northern Maryland. But that main area, really the main risk tomorrow is going to be focused right over my area. I am right here in Martinsville. So you can bet you I'll be out all day tomorrow. I'll probably get out there. I'll probably try to wait until 1. But I don't know if storms are going to... No, they are not going to wait that long. Yeah. I'll probably try to be going south at like 10. Yeah. I'm going to get up early. Get out there early. And then as things destabilize, those storms should really intensify. So we could definitely see a spin-up tornado tomorrow. Specifically in western NC and a good chunk of Virginia. But no notable tornado threat. Like, we're not going to see any, like, strong tornadoes or a bunch of tornadoes tomorrow. It's just a spin-up tornado risk, just like today. New significant severe just issued out here for Morgantown, Kentucky for 1.75-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds for the next 22 minutes. So that is a significant severe storm there. Still under a tornado warning in central Ohio. Very weak area of rotation, according to radar, but radar is far away, so not really too concerned for that region. Still want to be in your safe spot, obviously. Still want to be in your safe spot, but it doesn't look like anything extremely impressive rotation-wise. It looks very weak. But still want to be in your safe spot. You know, they tornado warned that for a reason. So just because radar doesn't show a strong area of rotation doesn't mean it's not rotating. It can still easily be rotating closer to the surface to where radar can't see it. Arclitex, I think you're good. Just some lightning and isolated very heavy rain today. Main risk should stay off to y'all's southeast. Yeah, today looks very sloppy. I don't think we'll be live for too long. The main tornado risk today, it looks like models are starting to pick up on it. It might end up being out here. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see a few tornado warnings in this area later today. And some big time, potentially softball-sized hail. But thankfully, that's not in a too populated region. You know, that's in a pretty rural region of Texas. Let's see, so it's currently what, 18Z? Yeah. Also, I do see a secondary tornado threat back up here in Ohio. We might have to watch these storms. The HRRR has these potentially being a tornado issue over the next 2 hours, so definitely a few storms to keep an eye on. Plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, and like I said, most of these are just regular severe thunderstorm warnings. Just one significant severe. Yep, still one significant severe, and then just that one tornado warning in central Ohio. So still remaining your safe spot if you're under that tornado warning in Cardington, central Ohio. They did continue that severe thunderstorm warning. It is a tour possible severe warning. So if you are in Belleville, Fredericktown, Lexington, central Ohio, what that means is stay away from doors and windows and stay close to your safe spot just in case it starts to get a little bit out of hand there and they might end up extending that tornado warning. Just want to play it safe. So stay close to your safe spot just in case. Connor is northwest of Austin, Texas right now. A lot of our severes are focused in this area here. There's just a big cluster of severes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 severes in this one area. We are about to lose a lot of severes, though. Yeah, we're going to lose 7 severes here shortly. Proxy, why is there, what, oh, what are you doing up there? A special weather statement to my north. Tempting. Very tempting. You'll be fine today, Proxy. I don't expect much. I'd say just some heavy rain. Light to moderate rain, actually. Not even heavy. Light to moderate rain tonight towards, like, 2 a.m. Tomorrow, I think the main storms are going to stay just barely off to your east. Should stay just off to your east for tomorrow. So not really much for you. Another severe thunderstorm warning in eastern Texas for 1-inch hail, around 50-mile-an-hour winds. Thanks for dropping by, Proxy. See you later. All right, no longer under a tornado warning. We're back down to just severe warnings across the U.S. here. And a lot of those are going to be dropped here in 2 minutes. We're going to lose like 7. Seven severes. Okay. So yeah, not much tornadic activity happening. Just plenty of wind and small hail. You're in the Nashville metro, very weak storm pulling through. Significantly weaker than anticipated. I heard some thunder. I heard some thunder. I'm gonna lose power over here live streaming. I do have a surge protector on my computer, so if like my house gets struck by lightning and we lose power, my computer will still survive. It won't get absolutely fried. Okay. So just gonna keep an eye on these storms. I'm listening for thunder out my window. That's what I'm listening for. If you hear me going quiet, listening for thunder out my window. Gonna lose power while being live. All right, there goes a bunch of severes. We're down to 18 again. So, like, every 15 minutes or so, we're just going to keep getting and losing a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings. That's just how it's going to be today. I'm under a marginal risk today, so I'm going to keep an eye on those storms. See if I need to go run after any of them. So plenty of severes just expired, most of which were in this area and up in this area. We're down to 4 here, whereas just a second ago we were at 9. So a lot of the severes here expired. We also lost a few in Georgia and South Carolina. And then we still have about 4 here in southwestern Kentucky. None of them are significant, so we're down to just 18 normal severes. There is 1 or 2 Tor possible. Yes, let's go check those. So this is, I believe both of them are up here, actually. Yeah. Both of our Tor possible severes are up here. You see a little area. More thunder. A little area of very, very weak rotation there. We'll just, keep an eye on it. Nothing big. Nothing that over the top. In Cincinnati, yeah, there's some rain off to your west about to move into Cincinnati, but Cincinnati is on the far west side of this risk, so I don't expect much severe storms there, but you could definitely end up with very heavy rain and maybe 30-mile-an-hour winds if you get unlucky. The thing is, storms are everywhere, right? These days, these type of days are days where model runs just suck. Like, they're terrible. That's why, like, for tomorrow, for instance, even though it's a marginal risk tomorrow, I plan on chasing regardless because model runs don't handle days like today well. There's so much instability and so much forcing all over the place that storms just pop up out of thin air. Like, literally, you can go from no storm to a severe storm in 10 minutes on a day like today. So that's why we have such a large risk area outlined because there's just a very large area where we're going to see a bunch of pop-up storms. A very large region. I'll show you the instability. So here's all your instability for today. We've got a huge, huge area of favorable instability. Very, very large area of favorable instability today. And much of that area that has instability is under some sort of risk from the SPC. Looking at the supercell composite, which is your tornado ingredients, there's definitely a corridor of okay ingredients back out here in Texas. However, if we switch to lower level wind shear, there shouldn't be any. We'll see. There's a little wind shear, but not much. So that's why we're not worried about a big tornado threat today by any means. A very, very isolated tornado threat. Also, check temperatures there. Yeah, see 85, 69 there. That's not good. This is, so I think our best tornado risk today might be right in this region here in Texas. That doesn't look that bad. I want to look at surface observations in my area. That doesn't say 83, does it? Nope, that says 8358. So yeah, no tornado threat today in my region. That's for sure. That is for sure. What do temps get to tomorrow? And number one thing I'm going to watch tomorrow in my area is dew points. If those dew points get into the mid-60s, I'm going to have a tornado risk. If they don't, then I won't. Keep hearing a bunch of thunder outside. It makes me want to run outside. You should not do that, by the way. If you're in a thunderstorm, don't go outside. It's not a smart idea. But I'm not smart, so... In 11 minutes, we'll lose an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 severe thunderstorm warnings. All right, let's go back over to our storm in Kentucky. So, yeah, that is a normal severe. Just continuously checking all these severes to make sure they are normal. The only slightly concerning storm right now is this one up here in Fredericktown, Ohio. Broad area, very weak. Very, very, very weak rotation there. Nothing of, ridiculous concern. So we'll wait and see what happens with this severe storm. See if it tries to ramp back up again, rotation-wise. But look how far and few between these severes are. Like, these severes are very, very spaced out. Very, very spaced out. We do have that little cluster up here. I think that's new severe. Yeah, Nashville there. Actually re-intensified there. It's up to 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. So if you are in Nashville, make sure you're away from doors and windows there. A lot of heavy rain, some lightning, and damaging winds, and some small hail. Quite a few hazards there. Crazy lightning on this storm near Owensboro, Kentucky. Also small hail on that. South Carolina, just one severe left over there. So very, very spaced out thunderstorms in that area. No huge concern. Just continuously checking them all. We said most of these are just for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Then we have that Tor possible severe up in Ohio. Well, that's a bit of a larger hail core there. See the... We can't really see the regional radar either. That's quite terrible. But maybe a little bit of small hail there falling to the northeast of Columbus, Ohio. It says 1-inch hail. Wouldn't be surprised if it's slightly larger than that. Just slightly larger. See, my local National Weather Service just put out a AFD. See what they say about tomorrow's threat. Uh, 1.5-inch hail possible tomorrow in my area. That's fun. Hope it doesn't hail. "19 severes remain." So, yeah, I mean, it seems like we're just going to stay with these normal severes throughout the entire day. The only area I'm really concerned about for that greatest severe threat of the hazards you see in the title is back out here in Texas. Right out here. Seems like a lot of overconvection. Instead of, like, 2 big lines of severe storms like some models were projecting, it seems like we're just getting a bunch of severe storms in front of the main cold front. New mesoscale discussion. I'm betting Texas. Yep. So that's back out here towards the Del Rio area, Junction, Texas. We'll see what that's for. It is definitely for a severe watch. I can tell you that. Possibility of 80-mile-an-hour winds and 3.5-inch hail, as well as a brief tornado or two. Tornado threat looks slightly elevated back out here. It's all going to come down to boundary interaction like what we had yesterday. Thing is, today we don't have nearly as good of boundaries. Yeah, so let me go and show you that graphic because they do point something out here. All right, so this is the new mesoscale discussion. So they do point out a outflow boundary on the north side, a small scale boundary here. And the hail threat, as you can see, it's up to 3.5 engine diameter, up to 80 mile per hour winds, and a spin up tornado or two. So a severe watch will be issued here, probably in the next 2 hours or so. They say the next few hours there. And I wouldn't be shocked right along that boundary. That's where we're going to watch. So just actually in front of that boundary, that's where we'll watch for that tornado threat. So Rock Springs, Del Rio, probably south of these areas here. So generally like this vicinity is where we're going to keep an eye out for the greatest tornado threat. As that boundary moves a little bit south, this one moves east. They should eventually meet in an area, probably around here. And that could increase our tornado threat just slightly. Just slightly. Nothing like too ridiculous. If it was a really good tornado threat, they'd do a tornado watch. But that's going to be another severe watch. So, my goodness, in just a few hours here, we're literally going to have a severe watch stretching, severe watches, I should say, stretching from Canada all the way down to Mexico. That is insane. Right now, this whole area here is under multiple severe watches. And soon we're going to add this region right here to severe watches. And once that happens, there's actually going to be an area that goes from Canada all the way down to Mexico inside a severe watch there. According to this radar, there's a new significant severe. Let's see if that's true. Nope. No significant severes. Toward possible severe, though, in Texas. Yeah, you can see a little weak area of rotation there. A bit of a supercellular structure here. A very weak supercellular structure forming in this area. Not a lot of lower level wind shear, so it should stay disorganized and not intensify. Trying to look to see the wind shear in this area. Oh man, there's actually like no wind shear. It's better to its north, so if it was like up here, it might have a better chance for a tornado, but it's really far south. I mean, you could see it's trying to rotate. It is definitely trying to rotate right in here. For sure. That's just a little bit to my south. Very, very tempting to see if I can see that from outside. Severe storm still remains over Nashville. You see a little pocket of up to 60 mile an hour winds. That's going into Lakewood right now. Yeah, also pretty good amount of winds here. 60 mile an hour winds going away from our radar site now. So that's going to go towards the southeast side of Cleveland, Ohio. Pretty good damaging winds there. We actually had a pocket of 60 mile an hour velocities. So that could be doing quite a good amount of damaging winds there. So keep an eye on that as it goes into Bedford, Cleveland, East Cleveland, Mayfield Heights, Parma. We'll keep an eye on all that. Yeah, earlier that was northeast of Houston, where we have that toward possible severe. So there's Houston. It's right over Huffman. Right over Huffman, northeast of Sheldon. Little rotation there. Not much, though. Another tour possible severe. We're getting quite a few. This one's over Owensboro. See a little couplet there. So there's a few little areas of rotation to keep an eye on. But nothing's good enough for a tornado warning. At least at the moment. And I think it's going to really stay that way. I don't expect much today. Like I said, other than those boundary interactions, we'll have to watch that in Southwest Texas. South Central Texas as well. All right, so real quick, let's just quickly go look over some model runs. I want to show you some models for the long range pattern here that we're taking a look at. So going on into Monday, that risk they have outlined for day 4, we're going to see a very large negatively tilted trough with a very large area of just generalized flow. Now, the ingredients on this day should be fairly limited. It looks like we'll have a good amount of instability, and some wind shear should overlap with that. So that's where we have the best chance for severe weather to occur, which you can see is going to be in this general vicinity right in here. Likely very late Monday evening will be the main time frame. And I really don't think we'll see much more than just damaging winds, large hail. There could be a spin-up tornado threat. That might be something we have to end up keeping a very close eye on, but that's going to come down to the wind shear, this right here. Right now, model's pretty aggressive, almost 200, 0 to 3 kilometer wind shear there would be favorable for at least a few tornadoes going into day 4, which is Monday. After that, going into Tuesday, that severe threat will probably push eastward. Now, this might be a little bit more of a notable severe threat. The SPC did talk about highlighting a risk for severe weather in this area for the day 5 outlook on Tuesday, but they didn't include it because there's a little bit too much uncertainty. And then also, same goes for the next day here, Wednesday. We could see some more severe weather. So we're still going to be in an active pattern for severe weather. It's just nothing looks like that strong tornado threat or tornado outbreak type of thing that we normally see in May. And I mean, that's the case for this whole model run. There's nothing really over the top at all. There's nothing of concern of severe weather at all the way from about 150 hours out all the way to the end of the run. There's just no severe weather in sight, no solid threats of severe weather. So who knows? Maybe May will end up being one of the more inactive months here. That is what I was forecasting for our tornado outlook earlier this year. We were forecasting a pretty inactive May, either late April or May. One or the other was going to be inactive. And late April popped off. Obviously, we had quite a few severe storms and a lot of tornadoes, like 20 plus tornadoes. And May, outside of a few tornadoes yesterday, we haven't seen too much yet. But hello, yesterday was the first day of May, so yesterday we had 1 or 2 tornadoes. Actually, no, 3 or 4 tornadoes. My bad. 3 or 4 tornadoes yesterday in Texas. Today, I don't think we'll see. We may see 1 tornado, possibly as many as 2, but I doubt we'll see anything that notable. And in the rest of May, like I said, I don't really see anything too crazy. Well, we'll keep an eye on that Tuesday. That's a really good signal there. Yeah, that might be a little bit of something we have to be more concerned about. See a pretty sharply negatively tilted shortwave there. Tuesday's got my attention now. We'll keep an eye on that. See what CSU has. So Tuesday is day 5. Yeah. Yeah, I would I am quite a bit more interested in like this area right in here. Keep an eye on that region for Tuesday, day 5. Wouldn't be shocked if we get tomorrow it would be a day 4 risk. So wouldn't be shocked if we get a day 4 risk for the current day 5 outlook. So we'll see if they highlight that tomorrow. It would not shock me at all. That That's going to be something I pay more attention to. But yeah, just looking at May, I think it's gonna be probably below average for tornadoes, to be honest with you. That's exactly what we were forecasting earlier this year. See if the Euro has. Yeah, the Euro doesn't really have anything too crazy either. It has a little shortwave towards the middle of May. That would be definitely a small, severe threat there. But that's way too far out. Let's go take a look at some ensembles real quick. I haven't really gotten a chance to look at all this long-range stuff. I haven't even seen this. I just pulled it up. Let's see. Lord have mercy. What is that? What are those doing? Well, outside of that, which is absolutely insane, there's not a lot in here. You follow this solid black line, not the dotted, the solid black line. That's your control member group there. And you can see it's below average for pretty much the whole time, the entire way here. So that's your little tornado threat there on May 4th. I believe that is May 4th and 5th. That's your day 4 outlook for severe weather. And then a little bit of an uptick, especially on May 6th there. That's, at least on this run, if we disclude whatever the heck is happening on the 14th and 15th, the 6th looks like the closest threat for tornadoes. Potentially a little bit more of an elevated tornado threat. And the 6th is Tuesday. Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll have to keep an eye on Tuesday. And then you can see it starts to go right back down. So we've got our severe threat on day 4 for the potential of tornadoes. And then day 5. Day 5 is definitely something that now has my attention as we just looked at model runs. And then the very dead middle of May. But, I mean, that's pretty inactive period right in here. Not really much of a signal for any severe weather from the 7th through the 13th. And this is looking at more of, you know, your tornado threat, your daily sum of supercell composites. So your tornado threats look below average for May. Your severe threats, it's still going to be severe weather. It's May, so you ain't going to escape that. So this is a bunch of those ensembles, and you can see they're starting to light up. They are starting to light up on the 6th. Right here is the 6th, and they're starting to light up. Also on the very last run of this as well. Very last day on the 15th. We'll keep an eye on that in the middle of May. That's something that this is quite highlighting. But that's like the end of our ensembles, so there's a lot of uncertainty on that. But I would definitely be watching the 6th. I would be watching the 6th. So we just got a tornado warning northeast of Houston. Yep. That's super weak, too. Very weak area of rotation there.
Tornado warning for southwestern Liberty County in southeastern Texas, northeastern Harris County in southeastern Texas, Harris and Liberty County in Texas.
So that's in southeast Texas for about 7,000 people, a little over 7,000 people there. Very, very, very weak area of rotation. Extremely weak. I am actually shocked they tornado warned that, because that is extremely weak rotation. For 22 minutes there on that new warning. Keeping an eye out here in my region too. So there's your new tornado warning northeast of Houston. We also got a significant severe in central Kentucky for the next 36 minutes there. All right, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm probably going to head off here. We're just an hour stream. I have some things I wanted to do today. That's why I started up early. It looks like today downtrended a lot because of all that morning convection. And not really just morning convection, but also over convection. So we're still going to get the occasional tornado warning like we have now. Isolated, significant, severe, and plenty of severe storms. But there's been so much severe weather. I'm just ready for a break, to be honest with you. I'm ready for a break, and I want to get ready. I want to check a few things in the car and get the car ready for tomorrow's chase. So I want to go get all that stuff done, get some gear prepared up, and then we'll have a fun day chasing tomorrow. So I look forward to streaming for a bunch of hours tomorrow. I plan to stream a lot tomorrow because I'll have a second device. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll be live for a few hours tomorrow, storm chasing out there in North Carolina and Virginia. I'm going to go get ready for that. I apologize for the short stream. There's other people live. If you want to go watch them cover this threat for severe weather, please go do so, especially if you are in the risk area, which I know there's plenty of you in the risk area. So go watch, your local meteorologist or other people on YouTube to get the latest information. Also go to your Storm Prediction Center, local National Weather Service site as well. Make sure you guys stay hyper weather aware out there. I apologize for the short stream, but I'll make that up tomorrow. I promise. I'll be live for a long time. We'll have some time to chat while I'm on the road traveling towards some severe weather. We'll probably be live around lunchtime, so keep an eye on it around maybe noon, 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be up tomorrow at 8 a.m. and doing my analysis, and then I'll hopefully get out of here around 9 a.m., head towards central North Carolina or western North Carolina, wherever the target area looks to be. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. There is a chance I come back on here tonight. If things get too over the top, I might head back on here tonight. But I will definitely see you guys in a storm chase tomorrow. I can't wait for that. I'm going to go get some things set up, and hopefully we won't blow a flat tire. Keep your fingers crossed on that. No flat tire tomorrow, please. I'm worried about that now. I have I'm very concerned of blowing a flat tire now, since it happened to me once. But anyways, stay safe, watch for weather. I'll see you guys definitely in tomorrow's storm chase. Maybe tonight if things get too ridiculous. Stay safe, watch for weather. Goodbye. stay safe and have a fantastic rest of your Friday. Thank you, Mods for Mod.